Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the Mikestand. Today is, of course, Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. So hopefully, everybody's having a good week thus far. Of course, we're going to give people a chance to come in before we get started. Um, hey, Jefferson Starship, Trooper. Hello, who's on tonight? Well, just me. It's just the normal Needs newscast. Only time I have a co-host is for the Sunday show, the historical comic retrospect. But during the week, I just do it myself here. So I guess now that we do have somebody in here, a friendly reminder to everybody: if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So I guess with at least one other person here, I guess we can go ahead and talk about what's on tap for tonight, which is, of course, I got one article I'm going to go over from Bounding into Comics in regards to the X-Men 97, um, you know, show, the sequel to the X-Men the animated series from back in the 90s. Um, let's see. According to them, that the showrunner's firing, Bo DeMaio's firing, has no effect on season two. Is basically everything else is pretty much the same director, same writer, same cast, all that. So we're going to look at that. We'll get caught up on with the wrestling wrap up. Look ahead to tonight's NXT. And I'm sure there'll be some TNA talent showing up as well, following kind of the fallout from TNA's Bound for Glory, um, and then we'll also wrap things up with this day in each history. Oh, with all that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started a little early here. I usually wait until about 5 minutes to get started, but as we do have somebody in here now, I guess I can get started early here. So let me grab the article here we're going to go over tonight. And of course, they disappeared. Alrighty then. So we're gonna get started anyways, since I made that commitment to do so. Alrighty then. So, X-Men 97 promises original showrunner's firing has no effect on season 2. Quote, same director, producers, cast, many of the same writers. Article by Spencer McCauley, published back on October the 11th, which of course was this past Saturday. So let's get into this. So Marvel TV boss Brad Winderbaum has assured fans that despite being produced without the assistance of original showrunner Bo DeMaio, um, the upcoming second season of Disney Plus's X-Men 97 is still being worked on by all but a handful of its original creative team. And thus, we'll see no drastic changes made to either its story or creative direction. Now, if you guys know, we've been following this because, in part because, of course, this is a follow-up to the original X-Men, the 90s, X-Men, the animated series from back in the 90s, but also because of some of the fallout from the whole situation with Bo DeMaio getting caught posting some spicy pics, as the quartering would put it, on I don't know if it was Instagram or one of those sites. Also, some accusations back and forth between all parties. So, um, But anyways, let's getting further into this. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly's Nick Romano at the currently ongoing New York Comic Con 2025 on the topic of Marvel Studios' small screen future, Windebaum was at one point pressed by his host as to quote the vibe and tone brackets of season 2 is going to be very similar to season 1 or if it's going to go in a new direction unquote, following DeMaio's replacement as showrunner by What If story editor Matthew Chauncey. In turn, the Marvel exec asserted, quote, well, first and foremost, it's actually the entire creative team, same director, same producers, same cast, many of the same writers, and it's standing on the shoulders of giants. Get unquote there. Yeah. And again, friendly reminder to everybody: if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions, and I will try to answer to the best of my ability. So, with that being said, continuing on. Quote, one thing that makes X-Men 97 work so well is that everybody's rowing in exactly the same direction. Now, season 1 got pretty panned because of the fact um, of the woke direction they took, again, some of the alterations they made to in character design to both Rogue and Morph in particular. We've talked about that a little bit here with with Rogue basically being desexualized, as it were, making her breasts and buttocks considerably smaller from the original series, and also Morph now coming out as being, I guess, non-binary and supposedly now indicating he has a thing for Wolverine. So, um, yeah, that, yeah. Anyways, let's see. So, everyone that works on the show knows that original series inside and out. We work very closely with, in brackets, original X-Men the animated series creators, unbracketed, Eric and Julia Lewald, and Larry Houston. They're here all the time, reviewing material and talking to the artist. The second season feels very much a worthy successor the first season, unquote. Yeah, and some of the changes that were made to the voice cast too, due in part to you know trying to have more representation, as it were. Um, from there, asked about Apocalypse voice actor Ross Marquand's recent admission at the Salt Lake Comic Convention 2025 that quote unquote a lot of people die in season 2. Windebaum recalled, quote, I saw something about that. I would say that it is the same stakes as season 1. So Rob Marquand, I believe, taking over the role. I believe. Let's see. I don't remember off the top of my head who did Apocalypse in season 1. I'm sorry, in the original X-Men series. I know it was an older actor who I think has since passed away. So, um, but anyways, continuing on here. Quote, I wouldn't characterize it as a lot of characters die. It's not Marvel Zombies, but like many great anime shows, like X-Men 97, Season 1, mortality is on the table, and some of these characters want to do what's right at any cost. Unquote. Their time together coming to a close, Windowbaum was ultimately asked as to his thoughts on DeMaio's post X-Men 97 divulging of the allegedly abhorrent treatment he and others received under Disney's leadership. The Marvel Studios exec took the diplomatic approach and simply told Romano, quote, "We've talked about this before. I'm grateful to Bo. We launched this series together. I think he did excellent work. Frankly, I don't really look at it or read any of it, so I don't really know." Unquote. Hmm. The saga of DeMaio's firing first began in March 2024, when just day ahead, or days ahead of X-Men 97's premiere, he was let go from his position and subsequently stripped of his production's credits for the show's second season, of which he had already written a sizable portion. At the time, the showrunner implied that his new unemployment status was related to his sharing of a fan art piece as drawn by New York City based artist Junaid, um, depicting him in a risque Cyclops cosplay. However, he then announced he would be taking, quote, a step back from social media, unquote, proceeded to do so before divulging any specific information related to the situation. Hmm. And again, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if any here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. That goes for both my Rumble and my YouTube viewers. So, um, anyways, as we continue on here, offering a response to DeMaio via a statement provided to the Hollywood Reporter, an official Marvel spokesperson pushed back against his suggestion, in turn asserting that, quote, Mr. DeMaio was terminated in March 2024 following an internal investigation, unquote. Quote, given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, unquote. They added, likewise, declining to explain their side of the story. Quote, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel, unquote. But in a third twist to the story, the Hollywood Reporters Aaron Couch and Boris Kitt further reported that, per their alleged sources, the showrunner's firing was the result of an agreement that had been, quote, reached between the two parties over the issues of tweeting about the show, something that DeMaio had continued to occasionally do, unquote. Um, Now, it was DeMaio was accused of being difficult to work with at times, and also making inappropriate comments towards some of his coworkers. That's what a lot of this is stemming from. So, Um, quote, in light of the breaches, his credit for season 2 was removed, unquote, they explained. Quote, with no details of the cause of the termination or the internal reviews have surfaced. Sources say it involved sexual misconduct, unquote, which I just kind of mentioned there. From there, both DeMaio and Disney go dark on the topic, with neither party providing any updates for the next few months. That was until today, when, without fanfare, DeMaio uploaded a video aptly titled, so I guess September 11th, aptly titled, quote, Marvel Disney Statement, or smaller quotes, Marvel Disney Statement, to his personal YouTube channel. Quote, these allegations of egregious misconduct are false, quote unquote, said DeMaio in the opening to his lengthy video. Quote, they're not just trying to discredit me using incredibly misleading press releases, but also through coordinated leaks and bot attacks, as well as, in small quotes, anonymous scoops, in small quote, being given to tabloid sites and podcasters. Quote, you may be heard some of these the in small quotes. I've heard rumbling and whispers about Bo on smaller quote. Now back when I was at high school was we called this gossip. Unlike unlike then, today, luckily, I have a legal team who has forensic investigators tracking these attacks, scoops, and leaks, so that we can hold those responsible for defamation, harassment, and for inciting outright criminal threats of violence. Unquote. Oh, he's not. It doesn't sound like he's playing, does it? Let's see. As a publication, Disney has not offered a public response to DeMaio's video statement, probably because if this is going to be an ongoing court case, they don't want to step in it, as it were. So, anyways, meanwhile, DeMaio continues to occasionally share more behind the scenes details regarding his time as showrunner via his personal Twitter account. Alrighty then, so there we go with that, and that was the only article I was planning on going over tonight. Let's see. Considering considering the time, maybe I will try to see if there's anything more we can see if there's anything more we can maybe report on here. Yeah, I'll try to find one more article to go over as one I think we still. First off, I'll just go through. Okay. Here's something from today, actually. Here's something from today. Um, so we got some news on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Let's see what this is all about. So I just saw this as I decided to look for another article here real quick. Let's see what they have to say here. Hold on a sec. Apparently, we're having some signal issues, I guess, from the looks of it. Let's see by unsharing. Oh, wait, I guess now Now it kind of finally came through there. So, anyways, all right. So, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, Steel Ball Run, anime quote unquote restructuring early chapters, but not quote too drastically unquote. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published today. So this is, I guess, the latest. This is the latest thing from JoJo's Bizarre. So after 4 years waiting at the starting line, David Productions is finally off to the races with Steel Ball Run, the next and seventh overall entry in their animated adaptation of Hirohiko Araki's um, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And according to director Yasuhiro Kimura, Johnny and Gyro's jump to TV necessitates some slight changes being made to their early adventures. Yikes. Gold teeth, okay. Yikes. Um, the highly anticipated Western themed standoff, in parentheses here, pun intended, was unveiled to eager fans on September 23rd, notably the same day as the in universe announcement of Steel Ball Run's eponymous horse race via the JoJo Bizarre Adventure new announcements event global live stream. Event on September 23rd is hosted by Steven Steele voice actor Kenta Miyake, who also provided the voice of Muhammad Abdal in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Stardust Chronicles, or Stardust Crusaders, rather. In parentheses there. Marking the beginning of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure's dive into its alternate timeline, Part 7 takes place in the 1890s America and centers around the titular Steel Ball Run, the North American continent's first cross-country horseback race, which challenges riders to travel a 600-kilometer route from San Diego, California, to New York for a first-place prize of 50 million US dollars. Wow. And if you haven't already, I can share the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So as we continue on with the article then here, um, let's see. Among the race's various entrants is the series' newest protagonist, Johnny Jojo Joestar, voiced in Japanese by Shogo Sakata, who provided the voice of Yusuke Tani in You and I Are Polar Opposites, on parentheses there. A British born jockey, prodigy, whose dreams came to an end after he was shot and paralyzed from the waist down, and his newfound mentor, Gyro, who's voiced in the Japanese by Yohei Azakami, who provided the voice of Guel Jeddark in Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury, on parentheses. A cowboy whose mastery of the rare spin technique allows him to accomplish a number of superhuman feats, including the offensive manipulation of his personal weapon, a steel ball. Let's see. And restoration um, of sensation, of restoration of sensation to Johnny's legs. the last feat of which inspires Johnny to enter the race alongside Gyro in order to study his techniques. And there's some of the manga. Let's see. Produced by Warner Brothers Japan and animated by Studio David Productions, Steel Ball Run will be helmed by co-directors Yasuhiro Kimura and Toshiyuki Kato, um, who previously directed Part 5 Golden Wind and Part 4 Diamond is Unbreakable, respectively, and feature script work from Part 5 Golden Wind writer Hideo Takahashi and Yasuko Kobayashi, who previously contributed her talents to every JoJo's Bizarre anime entry since Part 3 Stardust Crusaders. Notably, while details regarding Steel Ball Run's episode count and creative direction remain tight-lipped, a recent interview Kimura has published in the recently released JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Anime Key Animation Collection Animation Artworks Archive 2 Series Production Art Book. The anime's take on Johnny and Gyro's wild ride will play out in slightly different fashion than in Araki's original manga. Hmm. Per a translation of the interview provided by JoJo Bizarre Adventures Fan Wiki's official Twitter account at JoJo Wiki, Kimura revealed that rather than kicking off with the introduction of Sandman and his reasons for joining the race, Steel Ball Run will instead open on Johnny and Gyro in order to keep viewers locked in to the series' identity. Quote, I wasn't able to read it in real time during its serialization, so during New Year's break, while working on Part 5, I finally sat down and read it. I remember enjoying it so much that I read it all in one go. But when I first started reading, I remember wondering, in small quotes, is this really JoJo? Quote, that question has weighed heavily on us during this adaptation. The story progresses, it does transition into the familiar JoJo style stand battles, but at the beginning, there's hardly any hint of that. It's clear that Araki Sensei originally wanted to draw a, in small quotes, race story. After all, the first character to appear isn't Gyro or Johnny, but Sandman. Quote, as a fan just reading the manga, I didn't think twice about it. But approaching this as the newest JoJo anime season, we realized the early chapters would need restructuring. Actually, working on it, the story composition has been quite a challenge. We have to reproduce the same exhilaration the original gave readers, so we can't change it too drastically. Unquote. Let's see. Warner Brothers Japan has confirmed that Steel Ball Run will fire its starting gun exclusively on Netflix sometime in 2026. Interestingly, a look into Netflix's metadata by JoJo Wiki at JoJo Wiki revealed that the anime currently holds a premiere date of March 18, 2026 at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, the site does not uh, does not or the site does note. I'm sorry that quote this does not necessarily have to be the real release date and could just be a placeholder unquote. And there we go. So there we go with that one. All right. So with that being said, we're coming up right at the 31-minute mark. So I believe what I will do now is we will get into maybe we'll actually I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. As soon as I'll put some music on for you guys while I'm gone. Um, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyways, so now we're gonna, as I said, we're gonna move on to the wrestling wrap up. Look ahead to tonight's, of course, NXT. We already kind of went over the results of Raw yesterday because of the fact it was on much earlier than normal. So there was some news though that did come out. So apparently, part of the reason why they decided, guess it was actually in the long-term plans for the Vision to basically come to an end with the Bronze basically turning on Roman, or not Roman, but Seth Rollins. Now, apparently, reason they decided to do this early is that is that apparently at the Crown Jewel event, um, Seth Rollins may have legitimately hurt himself. He may have injured his left shoulder doing what they call a coast to coast diving headbutt, where he basically went from basically took a diving leap from one turnbuckle across the ring to the other, with Cody Rhodes hanging basically in the Tree of Woe position. And apparently Seth Rollins landed bad on his arm, and now he's going to be out for a while. So I guess they decided to move forward a bit more quickly on that. They've been trying to push, of course, Braun Breaker in particular towards the main event scene, and also Bronson Reed as well. So, but anyways, so with that being said, now taking a look at what's going to be going down on tonight's NXT on the CW, coming from the so scheduled for tonight's from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, on the CW. In a match that was set up last week for the first time in about, I believe it's something like, I think 6 years, I believe they said. Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder in the WWE, will be setting foot in the ring as a wrestler, as he will be as Matt Cardona will be taking on Josh Briggs after costing Briggs the a shot at the showdown match. In a number one contendership battle royal for the WWE NXT Women's title, a number of the female talent on NXT and TNA will be participating in that. Among the TNA talent include, of course, Victoria Crawford, the Inspiration, of course, who are the current TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay. The Angel Warriors of Xia Brookside and Lei Ying Lee. Heather by Elegance. Let's see. Mara Sade. Current TNA Women Knockouts Champion. Kalani Jordan, who's also an NXT talent, as it were. So those are some of the people representing TNA in this, and representing, of course, NXT include, of course, Jordan Grace, Izzy Dame, Ren Sinclair, Ariana Grace, Tatum Paxley, Lash Legend, Thea Hall, Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka who is the current W Speed and NXT North American Champion. Jada Parker, Carmen Petrovich, and Kendall Gray. And also on the card tonight, former Heritage Cup champion Lexis King takes on Triple A's El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. So again, and there'll probably be some fallout from Bound for Glory that was held on Sunday. Trick Williams, I'm sure, will have something to say about his loss to Mike Santana. Kalani Jordan, as we said, coming off of her win, her retaining of the Knockouts World Champion. Of course, we also have the Inspiration, who retained their titles, as the Inspiration and Heather by Elegance of the Elegance brand will of course be participating in this. So and that's in the number one contenders battle royal. All right. So with that being said, that's all I got for the wrestling wrap up. Well, of course, get y'all caught up tomorrow night on what happened on tonight's NXT, and look ahead to tomorrow night Dynamite, and probably also look ahead to this Saturday's Wrestle Dream event. Get you caught up on all the card events there. Turn something real quick. Oh, that's strange. I'm just looking something up real quick, folks. Give me a sec here. One more. Oh, wait, actually, what it was is. Oh, yeah. Start. What was the next? Okay, so it was on the 13th that happened. Alright, anyways, let me just. Alright. Alright, well, anyways, so that being said and done. Oopsie, I went a little longer than I thought there. So, anyways, sorry about that. Anyway, so now we're gonna. So with today being Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, let's go ahead and take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. So let me just go ahead and. 2000. 1955. All right. So, anyways, so first off, we're going to head back 70 years ago, as on this day. So now let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. So first off, we're going to head back 70 years ago, as on this date 70 years ago today. The Tom and Jerry cartoon Smarty Cat premiered on this date 70 years ago. From William Hanna and Joseph Barbera. This is a cartoon where Tom and his pals watch old footage of Spike's misery while the owners are not home. So, compilation short contains footage from Solid Serenade, Catfishing, and Fit to be Tied. So on this date, 70 years ago, Hanna-Barbera's Smarty Cat for MGM Cartoon Studios premiered on this date back in 1955. All right, so moving on to the next piece in each history here. As we move ahead to, we of course move ahead to the year 2000. On this date in the year 2000, day one of a 2-day event for the NWA, coming from the Nashville Fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee, on this date 25 years ago today, the NWA held day one of its 52nd anniversary show. This was Battle of the Belts 2000. The main event saw NWA World Heavyweight Champion Mike Rapada defend the title against Chris Harris, who would later become an NWA World Tag Team Champion alongside James Storm, during his time in TNA. The team of Bad Attitude of Rick Michaels and David Young retained the NWA World Tag Team titles over Air Paris and Cassidy O'Reilly. Vince Caplack defeated Tornado Tony Kozina to become the new NWA World Junior Heavyweight title. In a match for the vacant NWA World Women's Championship, Strawberry Fields defeated Leilani Kai. James Storm would defeat Big Bully Busick. Some other notable: Chris Champion defeated Slash by countout. The show opened up with Lash defeating AJ Styles by disqualification. That's right, folks. AJ Styles did at some point wrestle for the NWA. In fact, his original home promotion was NWA Anarchy, which was based out of Georgia. So, 25 years ago today, day one of the NWA 52nd anniversary show happened on this date 25 years ago. And 2000 is just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. As also on this date in the year 2000, let's find it here. On this date in the year 2000, premiering on Japanese television on Tokyo Broadcasting Services, E&G Films mecha sci-fi anime Invincible King Tri-Xenon premiered on Japanese television on this date back in the year 2000, 25 years ago today. E&G Films Invincible King Tri-Xenon premiered on TBS on Tokyo Broadcasting System. Basically airing at 17:30 or 5:30 p.m. Japanese Standard Time. So with that, and now, so that happened 25 years ago. Now moving ahead to the year 2019, or not starting, but 2009 rather. On this date in the year 2009, as soon as I grab that. On this date in the year 2009, the 25th issue of Booster Gold, Volume 2, Issue 25, went on sale on this date back in 2009, 16 years ago. Had a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle story, Booster Gold Day of Death Aftermath, and the Blue Beetle story Black and Blue Part 2. So 16 years ago today, Volume 2, Issue 25 of Booster Gold went on sale on this date back in 2009. All right, so with that, I do thank everybody for being here. Of course, we'll be back here with more Niche News tomorrow. And this Sunday, of course, I'll be joined by the Metal from the Vomitorium for the Historical Comic Retrospective. We'll be finishing up our coverage of comics that went on sale in June of 1940. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.